talking loud in the nighttime air. Voices clash, without a care. Opinions flare like they matter so. But who's right, we'll never know. Microphones like weapons drawn. Swagger in the twilight dawn. Each word iron, each thought steel. To be heard is the final deal. Howling offense in the midnight haze. Everybody's offended, each one sways. We're offended, you're offended, that's the way. Claim the night with the things we say. Truths clash like broken dreams. Voice to voice, let it scream. What's real in this foggy light? Bow hard till the morning light. Feel the hunger of the crowd. Anxious to erupt so loud. Unity in discord side. Witness as their worlds collide. Howling offense in the midnight haze. Everybody's offended, each one's way. We're offended, you're offended, that's the way. Claim the night with the things we say. Truths clash like broken dreams. Raise your voice, let it scream. What's real in this foggy light? Battle hard till the morning light. Feel the hunger of the crowd. Anxious to erupt so loud. Unity in discord's tide. Witness as their worlds collide. Howling offense in the midnight haze. Everybody's offended, each one's way. We're offended, you're offended, that's the way. Claim the night with the things we say. We say. We say. We say. We say. We say.
My mother twitted my fucking temples!
What's going on, everyone? Welcome. It is a beautiful Monday. Overcast. It's not beautiful. It's overcast and kind of gloomy out today. I'm working on some stuff today, but I wanted to go over some of the cartel stuff that's going on in Mexico and watching Not So Erudite. If you don't know who this person is, I guess as far as I know, she's Canadian, but she's like a libtard. I don't know. She's I don't know what she is. She's like a liberal Christian, but doesn't hold any Christian beliefs. I don't know. We'll go over that. Yeah, I want to go over some of the stuff that's going on in Mexico right now. I guess let's oh, right. I guess I'll say this before I get too far. So, for those that don't know, Wednesday, I am going to be, well, I guess I'll be streaming it with Wick TV. I will be debating the soy pill. I will be debating him on socialized healthcare. I believe that's 5 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Eastern. Adjust your time as necessary. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about that on Wednesday. But outside of that, soy pill is a little soy bitch. So let's just rejoice in that I will be taking soy pill's life. His name will no longer be soy pill. It will be soy paste. Okay. That's how he will be referred to from Wednesday on. He will be known as the Paste. So yeah, in Mexico, I guess they ended up offing some cartel leader. Now, I'm getting a lot of mixed reports with this. Was this a US action or was this a Mexico action? Like, did Mexico take this dude out? Or was it a joint operation with the United States military to take this guy out? If anyone can confirm, I haven't been able to really find out. They just keep saying military action. But then you have the prime minister or president of Mexico coming out and saying, well, we're not doing anything. I don't know. Let's learn together, shall we? This is from the Communist Broadcasting Corporation of Canada. So, top cartel boss killed as violence engulfs Puerto Vallarta and several states, Mexico says. So, the state itself, the country itself has spoken. Yeah, something in my throat's bothering me. Oh, that's it? Violence roiled? Is that even a word? Am I stupid? Roiled. Aroused to importance or anger of a liquid agitated vigorously in a state of turbulence. Okay, that is a word. Several states across Mexico, including I guess it's Jalisco, and its coastal city of Puerto Vallarta, as Mexican authorities confirmed that the leader of one of the country's most powerful criminal organizations had died following a clash with special forces operatives. So I assume this was like Mexican dudes, right? This was Mexican people or Mexican military? Let's see.
We begin with breaking news out of Mexico. Canadians in Puerto Vallarta are being ordered to shelter in place as violence escalates.
Oh, I can hear the lip smacking. She's talking moistly. Ugh.
In the region. This comes after reports from the Associated Press saying that the Mexican army killed El Mencho, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel. Ottawa is warning Canadians in Jalisco state, including Puerto Vallarta, that criminal groups have set up roadblocks with burning vehicles in the area. Here's a look at the advisory.
Oh, she talks so moistly. Ugh, I can't listen to that chick. Ugh. Stop talking moistly. Do I talk moistly? If I do, punch me. Virtually, of course. Not in real life. Not in real life. You know what? Let's just go to where people actually give information. Mexico, was it cartel? Sure. Oh boy, what the hell is that? Okay. Okay, can we not like videos? I get like videos and stuff are super cool. I don't know. All right, let's check this out from the BBC. The old big old. How the hell do I? There we go. I'll figure it out one day. Okay. So Mexico's most wanted drug lord El Mencho. What a silly name. What does Mencho mean? Does anyone tell me? What does Mencho mean? As far as I can tell, Mencho means like a man that likes eating other men anally. Is that what Mexicans do? Are you all up in the cheeks? Mexico's most wanted man and the leader of fear, Jalisco, whatever that chick said, the moistly speaking lady, drug cartel has been killed during a security operation to arrest him, the defense minister has said. Nemiso, no, not even going to try. Died on Sunday as he was being taken to the capital, Mexico City, after being seriously injured in clashes between supporters and the army. Oh, so this is Mexican. Yo, little da. 4 whatever members were killed in the town of Tapalta, the central western something state. 3 army personnel were also injured. The U.S. had given Mexico information that assisted in the operation. Okay, this little gang retaliated by setting cars alight, building roadblocks, and attacking security forces in 8 states. The U.S. Department issued a shelter-in-place warning for U.S. citizens in the state of Jalisco, as well as some other areas in Michoacán, Guararora, and Nuevo Leon. Get better names. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo later urged people to remain calm. She wrote on X that in most parts of the country, activities are proceeding normally. So the drug cartels are operating unimpeded, I assume. El Moncho, a 59-year-old former police officer, ran a vast criminal organization responsible for trafficking huge quantities of the old powder, a little bit of ADD, and the old fent into the USA. The U.S. State Department had offered a $15 million reward for information leading to El Mencho's capture. The Mexican Defense Ministry said it in a statement that the operation was planned and executed by the country's special forces. Okay, so this was Mexicans. Little Speedy Gonzalez individuals took this on. How did the United States know where this guy is and Mexico didn't? That's my first question. How did they know? How did the US know and Mexico not? It's crazy. Aircraft from the Mexican Air Force and the National Guard were also deployed. It also said that several armored vehicles and weapons, including rocket launchers, were seized during the operation. The U.S. had been providing information to Mexico that assisted its operation, the statement said. Eyewitnesses have filmed plumes of smoke rising over several cities, including Guadalajara. Sorry, I'm not retarded. Just one of the host cities for the forthcoming FIFA World Cup. Oh, soccer. Or football if you're gay. In the tourist hotspot of Puerto Vallarta on the... Okay, come on now. Come on. Stop it. Potentially thousands of tourists are trapped in the resort because of unrest. Throughout Sunday, there were reports of gunmen on the streets of that place and everywhere else. And elsewhere, sorry. The governor of Jalisco, Pablo Núñez Navarro, advised residents of the state to adhere to a code red warning and stay in their homes. Okay, so shelter in place. The Mexican cartels are like, getting a little pissy because they're top dog. But bye. Okay, makes sense. I did end up seeing some videos. Dude, I don't want to hear what you have to say. So let's see here. Is there just no sound? Oh, okay. Is there like cool music to this? Okay, was killed in a military raid. Yeah, we just read that. Okay. El Mencho's killing caused an immediate outbreak of disorder across the region, with torch cars and gunmen blocking highways in more than half a dozen states. 8, as we read. The unrest has forced Canadian and U.S. airlines to cancel dozens of flights. Okay. Thanks, Guardian. Thanks. Thank you for that. Okay. Report says cartel leader has been killed. Following his death, armed groups allegedly flooded streets, hospitals, airports, and public spaces, sparking widespread chaos across Mexico. Are these people all arrested? I don't know. I don't read Mexican. But let's learn together. Translate. An operation was carried out where 15 possible members of the whatever that cartel were detained. Okay, Omar, Secretary of Security and Citizen Protection, reported that they were carrying long weapons, drugs, and they were carrying vehicles. I thought Mexicans. Oh, why does that guy look so funny? Oh, I can't zoom in. Why does that one look so weird? I mean, all right. Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Okay, I get it. I get it. So why would they? Okay, I'm trying to understand this. So like, if the cartel, okay, your big boy at the top got taken out. Why would you go after like hotels and like non-combatant areas? Like, okay, so if they did go after hotels or hospitals, why would you go after hospitals? Why would you go after hospitals? Like, you guys are going to get sent there too. And then they're going to go like, hey, you tried to blow us up. We don't like that. We don't like getting blown up.
Cuidado, no se crucen. Cuidado.
Why is this person like, they're running away, they're running back, they're running away, running back? Like, what do you make a decision? Maybe do a little serpentine, a little zigzag.
No, cuidado. No manches. Cuidado.
Like, okay. Man, that level of self-preservation. Shut the hell up. Okay. Yo, this was actually crazy to see. This was actually pretty crazy. As far as I understand, this is not military. I don't know what he's saying, but apparently this is cartel members, which are apparently decked out. They look sick as fuck, man.
Pinche 20, a ver si muy verga te topas con nosotros. Ahí tengo desamarrados los perros, culero. Y así voy a andar patrullando. De tu puta madre.
Órale, vente, hijo de tu puta madre. Aplícale a la verga. Aplícale al toro, perro.
Hijo de tu puta madre. Vas a pegar toda la verga, culero.
Gente inocente, sí, eres bien verga.
Pinche 20.
Like, what the hell? That's crazy to see. These guys are dressed better than most of us, or most like militaries.
Pinche 20, a ver si.
Yeah. Trying to see some footage of like. What? Oh, okay. Well, I guess what is this? Being reported that passports are being taken and taxi drivers are being killed. The cartel are torching everything and killing people that get in their way. You know how you start a war? Is you start hurting innocent people. Like you start hurting civilians. That's how you actually get like a full-blown war. Like the Hells Angels learned that in like it was like the 80s or 90s. Because they had a big falling out, if I remember correctly. They had this big falling out where innocent people got hurt, and the police got involved, and a bunch of arrests were made, and all this type of crap. And so it's like the Hells Angels learned, like, we don't want collateral damage. We don't want people getting hurt, like innocent people getting hurt. Now, innocent. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want like bystanders, people that aren't doing anything. You don't want collateral damage because then the public gets pissed off. That's what ends up happening. So the public gets pissed off, they demand action, and then ta-da! That's what you like. These guys learn that pretty quick. But if they are actually like grabbing people and hurting innocent people, that is how you create a like a public outcry. What the hell? So what, this is from this Jamels? Pull this up. Gunmen linked to the whatever cartel ambushed a Mexican national convoy in San Isidro, killing 6 members. The attack happened just hours after reports surfaced that cartel leader El Mencho had been killed in a joint U.S.-Mexico operation, setting off waves of retaliation across the region. I won't play the video then if people were killed. Trump interfering in Venezuela, and now this. Well, you know what? All right. Okay. So is this Mexican Navy Black Hawk helicopters were seen flying over Puerto Vallarta. I think it's Vallarta. I think. After cartel gunmen opened sustained fire from
¿Todo bien, güey?
No manches.
Okay. So what is this? Passengers waiting for their flight to Edmonton in Porto whatever were forced to run onto the tarmac as the cartel began taking over the city. This apparently was 11 hours ago. Of course, the video is not going to play. So what is this? We have received additional exclusive on-the-ground footage from Edmontonians currently stranded in Porto whatever, amid ongoing cartel-related violence and unrest. The situation in Porto whatever remains extremely volatile following the killings of blah, blah, blah. In response to retaliatory actions, including burning vehicles, blockades, known as narco Fuck, man. Shootouts, explosions, and widespread distribution. Local authorities have issued a shelter-in-place order for that same region. Global Affairs Canada has updated its travel advisory for Jalisco. I assume it's Jalisco, including Puerto Vallarta, whatever, urging Canadians to shelter in place, maintain a low profile, monitor local media, and follow instructions from authorities. Multiple Canadian airlines, including Air Canada, WestJet, have canceled flights to and from, stranding many travelers. There's no widespread reports of tourists being directly targeted, but conditions remain chaotic with visible smoke.
Quemando
Jesus.
por los hoteles.
Look at the gun.
Boom.
It won't blow up.
Yeah, they're not fucking around, man. Another blow. So how?
So Canadian. Oh, yeah, bud. They ain't fucking around, eh?
How are they still in PB doing this? It's been hours. Another fire. Here we go, boys. Look, the helicopter's going right there.
Yeah, they're gonna start shooting.
Oh yeah, they're gonna blast these fucking cartels out of the chop.
Dude, I wouldn't say a goddamn word. I would just, I'm here to record. I don't want to incur the ire of these individuals. But yeah, YEG Wave has been able to get a lot of fantastic footage of this. So exclusive video recorded by a follower from Edmonton shows a gunfight. Jesus.
Real gunfire.
That's crazy. Oh, what the hell? Oh, we saw that. Submitted to us shows a Mexican Army helicopter flying over a resort where Edmontonians are sheltering in place.
Is that a real one? Is that a police one?
Like, if these people are just chilling out on the beach, like, hey, there's an active war going on.
Look at the gun.
We're looking for people up on the building. Is that a real one?
Oh, it's a real one, baby. Breaking: Edmontonians are stranded in Puerto Val, whatever, after cartel violence erupted following reports that Mexican forces. Okay, government Canada has issued a shelter in place. WestJet and Air Canada, blah 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 blah.
There was a shooting here in Puerto Vallarta for all the Edmontonians out there. They were telling us to go over there, but yeah, we all had to run here in Puerto Vallarta.
Wow. So I guess, okay. So I guess what is this? I guess the United States has kind of had a more or less up its fill of dealing with drugs coming into the United States. You know, we've seen in Canada how many reports The largest drug bust in Canada just happened, and then the next week another drug bust, the largest one ever seen. Yada yada yada. So, do you think that like the United States is kind of just going to sit here and it's like, hey, let's let like 45,000, I think it's 45,000 people a year die from like fentanyl, unless that number is higher. But you think that they're just going to allow it just for like Mexico's sake? I know it's been made very, very clear that the United States is done with these cartels. As far as I remember, that they made cartels terrorists, or foreign terrorist organizations, which gives them a lot more what's the right word? A lot more like powers in order to deal with this. But it seems like actually getting involved, like an actual like ground invasion or something like that with Mexico to actually get rid of these, these types of problems. It's I don't know. Is it just me, or does 2026, does it just feel, it just feels like something is going to happen? That's really the feeling that I'm getting. The more and more read the news, following it, it just,
I think it's time for
it just feels like something's going to pop off. That's really what it feels like. Oh man. I don't know. Does anyone else out there, are you guys getting that same feeling? It just feels like I don't know what it is. It just feels like there's this blanket or this fog over everything. I don't know. You guys, like, let me know. Like, am I crazy? Have I just read do I read too much news that I'm kind of getting like, not like black pilled, but it just feels like something's going on. It just feels like it. What the hell is this? Former New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says free speech is a weapon of war. And censorship is necessary to protect free speech.
This week, we launched an initiative alongside companies and nonprofits to help improve research and understanding of how a person's online experiences are curated by automated processes. This will also be important in understanding more about mis and disinformation online.
Do these people understand what mis and disinformation? I hate hearing that, because they just use it as like this catch-all phrase. Like, any mis or disinformation, you can be misinformed, which means you are wrong. That's basically it. Misinformed means you were wrong. Disinformation means you knew the truth and you lied. Much like the theatrics that our governments get up to. They intentionally lie. I guess it's kind of redundant, because a lie is intentional, but you know what I mean.
A challenge that we must, as leaders, address. Sadly, I think it's easy to dismiss this problem as one in the margins. I can certainly understand the desire to leave it to someone else. As leaders, we're rightly concerned that even the most light touch approaches to disinformation.
Even that bit. What? I'm gonna shake you with my left hand.
Could be misinterpreted.
That's a little cultural inside knowledge for you. If you know, you know.
As being hostile to the values of free speech that we value so highly. But while I cannot tell you today what the answer is to this challenge, I can say with complete certainty that we cannot ignore it. To do so poses an equal threat to the norms we all value. After all, how do you successfully end a war if people are led to believe the reason for its existence is not only legal but noble? How do you tackle climate change if people do not believe it exists?
Oh, oh, you little, oh, you and your funny accent. You and your funny little accent makes it sound like you're just, oh, I'm just here with one of the dicks or whatever, however they talk. Oh, that is. How do we convince people if they don't believe it? How dare they get conflicting information or that they think for themselves? How dare you think for yourself? Oh, you monster. So what we're going to do is that we're going to censor online speech and any mis and disinformation. You're going to be locked up for it. That's the only way. Statism. Was it? Ideas so good they're mandatory.
How do you ensure the human rights of others are upheld when they are subjected to hateful and dangerous rhetoric and ideology?
Coming from the chick, sorry, I should probably have her pulled up. Let this like ghoul speak for herself, not through me. This chick had New Zealand has some of the strictest COVID policies in the world. And she's going to talk about freedom. This chick is going to talk about freedom. All right.
The weapons may be different, but the goals of those who perpetuate them is often the same: to cause chaos and reduce the ability of others to defend themselves.
Or maybe Ardan or whatever the hell your name is, Jacinda. Or maybe people are criticizing things they don't like. When we see people like Jason Kenney, the petty tyrant that he is and was, and what he espouses and wants to really be, when you see people that just like label a thing, oh, you're Islamophobic, oh, you're transphobic, oh, so you're racist, all these things, it doesn't actually end the argument. It only emboldens the other side. So Jason Kenney, and I can't believe I have to argue this with these people because they just don't grasp the concept. He says racism is immoral. It's immoral. In fact, it is a moral imperative that you fight or that you remove racism. And now I'm not saying that racism is a good thing, but you are now making a moral claim that it is a good thing, that you have a duty to combat it. From the same people that at every opportunity cheered while people's lives were destroyed, do we not have a moral obligation or a duty to combat that? But when you just say, this thing is immoral, it really actually, it shows just how out of touch, how disconnected these people really are. And it's I can't stand these moral grandstanding soulless monsters. These are like societal vampires. They just suck everything out and they take as much as humanly possible. That's all these people do. They are moral, vapid vampires. All right, let's finish with this bucktooth.
To disband communities, to collapse the collective strength of countries who work together. But we have an opportunity here to ensure that these particular weapons of war do not become an established part.
You hear, she is talking about words. This chick is talking about words, about challenging ideas. But because they have lost control of the narrative, post-COVID, these people have lost the narrative. They've lost any and all goodwill. They are 100% mask off. They cashed in their trust, and you wonder why people are more and more less likely to trust government, to trust official narratives and everything else. It's because of you. It's because of you. It's because of you, Jacinda. It's because of you. People don't just follow you because you declare I am leader. You're not. Every single politician, you are not. You are not the leader. In fact, you are a servant to your community. But these people think themselves mightier and holier and smarter than everyone else. You know, I talked about before how I was at a meeting with a company that I'm contracted with, and the CEO had said that people care about. So for those that don't know, obviously I drive a semi. Me. Okay. So he had said that customers care that their groceries, their supplies are being hauled by a green vehicle. And I rolled my eyes and I laughed at it. And I said, no one cares about that. Literally no one. There's not one person in all of North America that looks at a semi going down the highway and says, I'm going to buy from that place because their vehicles are green. No one thinks that. But people like this Ardan chick, whatever the hell. That's what they in their cocktail soirees where they're spending tens of thousands of dollars on drinks and everything else while you can't actually afford groceries. While they go, look at all the good job we're doing. We're really blowing smoke up each other's ass, telling each other how great and smart we are. That's what these people do. They're so disconnected. They're so disconnected. And this chick is talking about speech as a weapon of war. Holy.
Of warfare. In these times, I'm acutely aware of how easy it is to feel disheartened. We are facing many battles.
Let's put this into perspective, okay? With her talking like this, she is talking to world governments. She is talking to, to them. She is talking to the populace. Don't be disheartened, okay? Put that into perspective. She's not talking to citizenry, okay? She's not talking to the citizenry. She's talking to governments. Okay, with that in mind, I'll let this play again.
In these times, I'm acutely aware of how easy it is to feel disheartened. We are facing many battles on many fronts, but there is cause for optimism because for every new weapon we face, there is a new tool to overcome it. For every attempt to push the world into chaos is a collective conviction to bring us back to order. We have the means. We just need the collective will.
That is insane. Your speech, notice that everyone's talking about how X is this hate speech riddled blah blah blah. It's like you guys got so used to being in your disconnected bubble that actual criticism, actual calling out your bullcrap to your face, you don't like it. You don't like having to look at it because then you can play all I see is hate speech and blah 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 on this platform while I ignore the platform that actually has censored that and pushed those people out. And I don't mean that in a good way. You actually end up pushing those people into more extreme positions instead of being able to pull them in to the middle, challenging their bad ideas with good ideas. All you do is they end up going off to their little corners. Look at Nick Fuentes. Okay. Look at him. Everyone said, just ignore him and he'll go away. Now look at it is now a problem that you can't deal with. You can't even talk out about that because now he's in your face. You can't dismiss it away. He's in your face now. This chick is talking about speech like it's a weapon of war. The ability for the common, you poor little stupid peasants, your ability to speak and having the ability to speak to your leaders is a weapon of war. These people are unfit. Absolutely unfit. It's actually embarrassing. Oh, look, another church. Another church just got burnt down. Oh man, okay. So I was listening to this earlier, and I brought up earlier the not so erudite. I think her name's like Kayla or Kyla or something. And you know, I'm an idiot. I'm like actually an idiot. This maybe someone can explain this to me like I'm an idiot, but I'm listening to this chick talk and my brain just breaks. It's like she's saying a lot without really saying anything. And I joked before about you know, her talking about like Agrippa's trilemma and yada yada. But I wanted to play a little bit of this. So I guess I'll set up some context. So I guess they're getting pretty cerebral with this conversation with regards to Andrew Wilson, who's like a Christian nationalist, and not so erudite is like some liberal Christian feminist, I guess. I don't know.
Agrippa's trilemma is a problem. It's a philosophical problem. Is Euthyphro's dilemma true?
Wait. I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about Agrippa's trilemma.
Yeah, it's a problem in the same way that Euthyphro's dilemma is.
Okay, so
what the hell's a Euthyphro's? What's a Euthyphro's dilemma? Euthyphro's dilemma. Okay. Is a philosophical question originally posed by Plato in his dialogue Euphorio or something. The dilemma asks, is something good because God commands it, or does God command it because it's good? Well, I think we discussed that on Saturday. But okay.
Trolley problem's true?
Walk me through Agrippa's dilemma. I'll make sure I understand it.
Okay, Agrippa's trilemma posits that no beliefs are justifiable foundationally because they will fail one of three ways. Dogmatism, infinite regression, or circularity. And I'm saying, can you find me an example of a true claim that doesn't fail Agrippa's trilemma?
Well, that sounds to me.
But then, okay, I'm an idiot, okay? But then it sounds like she's depositing that as though like, hey, I defeated your argument because it falls into this infinite regress. Therefore, nothing is true, right? Like I'm going off you know the dome piece here, trying to figure this stuff out. So she is basically arguing every argument made falls into Agrippa's trilemma. Therefore, I win, right? I don't know.
like you're positing propositions and a conclusion.
I'm giving you something similar to like a Euthyphro dilemma or a trolley problem to
Yeah.
see if you can solve it logically.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with Agrippa's trilemma, which we're talking about.
It
So
has everything to do with
what
Agrippa's
is
trilemma
the-
because you're asking if it's
what is
true,
the
which is
pro-
like asking me if trolley problems are true.
No, it's not.
Are trolley problems true?
If it's propositional, this sounds like propositional logic to me. You're actually giving me premises and a conclusion. Is the conclusion true?
This is not what's happening. It's a dilemma. Is the Euthyphro dilemma true?
Well,
Is it because it says dilemma, therefore it is a dilemma, and with that dilemma being like deposited, then your argument like falls apart? Like, did this chick go like, hey, I looked at Agrippa's trilemma, and that's how I beat logical arguments by actually attacking the root of that it's circular logic. What was it? Dogma, circular logic, and whatever the hell number 3 was. Is that how you like? I don't know. Maybe this is too cerebral for me, and I'm just too dumb to really grasp like what's going on here. But that's what it sounds like.
that's a whole different thing. But I'm
These
talking
are
about
one-to-one comparison. This is
Okay.
the comparison I'm trying to make because I feel like you're not understanding what a dilemma is.
Write it out for me.
It says, so Munchausen trilemma is also known as Agrippa's trilemma. So I guess it's just a different name for it. Scroll back up.
Yeah, so
Okay,
see
so
the
I'll
3
read this.
there?
Here,
Yeah.
keep working on this, but the circular.
Okay. Okay, so the circular argument in which the proof of some proposition presupposes the truth of that very proposition. The regressive argument in which each proof requires further proof ad infinitum. Okay. Don't stop. The dogmatic argument which rests on accepted precepts which are merely asserted rather than defended.
Argument in which the proof of some proposition presupposes the truth of that very proposition, the regressive argument.
Brian, I already did this for you, okay?
In
did
which
this.
each proof requires a further proof ad infinitum. The dogmatic argument which rests on accepted precepts which are merely
see if I
asserted
can proposition
rather
this out.
than defended. The trilemma then is having to choose one of the 3 equally unsatisfying options.
Okay.
Hopefully you can read that. Sorry if you can't. Just tell me if you need me to rewrite something.
Circular argument, infinite regression, or dogmatism. So then you believe in objective truth, right?
I believe in objective morals, yeah. And like
Objective. Okay. You know, I'll let this play.
scientific realism.
Are they objectively true? Morals?
Yeah. Well, objectively, like they exist outside of me.
Okay. I hate. I'm actually going to attack both of these people right now because objective means outside of a mind. That looks like Daisy, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like Daisy Media? Does Morgan PW9? Is that Daisy? Looks like Daisy Media. So objective means mind independent. That's basically what objective means. That outside of a mind, this thing happens. So by that very nature, you cannot have objective morals because even objective morals through even a Christian framework is mind dependent, is dependent on God's mind. So they're subjective.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Okay, what makes it true?
I'm assuming.
So is everything you assume true?
No, but everything I assume is true because I'm really good at philosophy. How do you solve? All I'm asking.
Oh my God. That silence said, I'm really good at philosophy. And then just look at Andrew's face.
Well, objectively, like they exist outside of me.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Okay, what makes it true?
I'm assuming.
So
I didn't catch that. She just said, I'm assuming. Okay.
is everything you assume true?
No, but everything I assume is true because I'm really good at philosophy. How do you solve? All I'm
It has
asking.
nothing to do.
Oh my God. That was fucking painful. Oh, I assume they're true I assume they're true because I'm really good at philosophy.
With me,
It does.
you don't believe.
So here's what's
it
happening.
doesn't.
How do you solve Euthyphro's dilemma?
Why do I need to solve your problem?
Because if I'm posing you Euthyphro's dilemma, a philosophical problem, you can't go, is the problem true? That's
I'm not even asking about
that's
that.
like
I'm
sidestepping
asking
the conversation.
If you believe.
So I was right. So her whole thing is like, look, I deposit this dilemma, and then therefore I destroy your argument outright. It's a fuck. I'm an idiot. Okay, I shouldn't be explaining any of this stuff. Philosophy is like a deeper level of thinking. Is thing true, and is it actually true? And it's more like a thought experiment rather than layering that onto reality. It's interesting thoughts. That's what this is. That's what these Agrippa's trilemma and the blah 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 whatever dilemma. She sees dilemma and goes, well, then answer for the dilemma. And if you can't answer for the dilemma, therefore I win.
That this is correct, and you also believe that objective morality is correct.
Yeah, correct in the way that we're assuming Agrippa's trilemma, correct in the way that like trolley problems are good at testing
So
logic.
we're just both making assumptions about everything?
Everyone is, well, that or you're infinitely regressing. Those are your two. Well, there's.
Oh my God. She's like, look at my philosophy. Let me philosophy your philosophy.
Your circular reasoning, which is just tautology. So everyone's kind of doing tautology.
So we're just assuming God.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
How are you not?
So all of these things in philosophy are just going down to these three categories for you?
No, not these. These aren't categories. These are ways in which you're fallacious. Your thinking is fallacious. So it's saying all beliefs, all meta ethics, normative frameworks are fundamentally unjustifiable because they can't solve for one of these three things. Thank you.
I see.
And I'm asking you, how do you solve it?
I can't. I'm going to adopt it.
He's like, Euthyphro's dilemma. I don't know.
Hey.
Can't find an answer to it.
No. I'm going to adopt it.
That's not an argument. That's not an argument. Just saying it's you for whatever blah's dilemma. Therefore, I win. This is like a thought experiment you like do with other people. Like, how would we actually solve for this? And you go, you know what? Yeah, I suppose a lot of my assumptions or a lot of my beliefs are kind of rooted in certain things, and we just kind of grant those things. We just grant that, you know, that we make certain axiomatic arguments, whether it is has some basis in dogma or whatever. Then it's like this whole like deconstruction of reality, but also then she believes in objective truth while still depositing but Agrippa's trilemma. But then you're depositing the same thing. Like if Andrew just turns back and goes, well, then you solve for you whatever froze Freudian slip dilemma.
You're right.
Okay.
I'm just going to assume everything's true because I assume it.
That's fine, but now
That's what you said.
now you're in line with like, so this is one of your issues.
That's what you said.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Welcome to my world, okay?
I'm in your world.
We're based over here.
Yeah.
Okay. The issue is that I wouldn't go to secular people and be like, you don't have a moral ethical system because it's unjustifiable. Because I already know that mine's unjustifiable. I'm assuming I'm doing dogmatism and they're doing usually infinite regression.
So
or they're being cowards and they're being like, oh, I
No, but
don't know.
So then you can't make a justification for why I shouldn't like pull out a machine gun and kill everybody.
These are not the same thing. You understand?
not?
me?
No,
yeah,
literally
so when I'm
the
talking
same
about
thing.
foundational beliefs,
Yeah.
pop quiz. What's foundational? Do you know what foundationalism is?
Yeah. It's going to be the pillar in which the belief stands on.
Yeah. Okay. So not all statements or beliefs
Thanks for the
are
pop quiz, by the
foundational.
way.
You're welcome. Well, I don't actually do pop quizzes. I usually
That's
ask
your whole
questions.
debate style, but go ahead.
It's not me knowing more information than you is not like some crazy like maniacal tactic.
Well,
and in fact,
when we get to the point where you do,
well,
I know.
this is the issue, Andrew, is it speaks to your insecurity that when I ask you questions about whether or not you know something, I'm asking in genuine good faith because they're like
Of course.
esoteric and I don't expect people to know them. But you take it as an insult to like your pride or something like that. Of course, because you think I'm doing something like maniacal when it's like,
as a Canadian, you guys can have her. Dude, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So she's trying to get into like this deconstruction of reality. And do you actually know? Or are you making like inferences to actually knowing? And how do you know that you actually know? Therefore, because you don't actually know, therefore your argument falls apart.
Me asking you, do you know what Agrippa's trilemma is, isn't to say, idiot, you don't know anything about Agrippa's trilemma. Why are you even talking about philosophy? It's for me to go, okay, if you don't, let me explain it to you.
Yeah, you might not. So I'm gonna like espouse this thing, and then oh, you don't know? Oh well, we don't actually. It's okay. It's totally okay if you don't know this like obscure thing with philosophy. You know, I read covers of books.
And then I'm curious how you would reason through it.
Yeah,
right?
I would just reason that I'll adopt it, and anybody that I decide to impose my will on can't actually say that I'm unjustified.
Of course you can.
How?
Well, you wouldn't say that your foundations are unjustified, but they would say, for example, here's a list of evidences and arguments as to why I don't think
Yeah,
that you
but
should
none
do
of
this.
those are justified. They're
Well,
all
you
going to
would
be
build it off
circular.
of tautologies.
So what?
Everything's built off of
Then
tautologies.
there's no justification. Tell
You
me I
think
can't
math-
do anything.
wait,
See that? Oh no, she's gonna start the Destiny like hands on her head and then like this. Guarantee you, she's gonna do the Destiny thing. She's gonna get high pitched and like, what are you even talking about? There's no way. She might not go that far, like Destiny far, but once they start grabbing their forehead, you know, like they're like on the cusp of saying stupid shit.
I think math doesn't exist because
What does that have to do with what we're talking?
I haven't even watched this. I watched like a minute of this, and I'm like, oh, that seems interesting. Then you think math doesn't exist? No, actually, you know what? It's funny. No, math doesn't exist. We made it the fuck up. Math doesn't exist outside the human mind. Yes, not so erudite. We made it up.
About.
Math is tautological.
Oh my God.
Wait, do you not know that?
What is the
Pop quiz time. Do you know that math is
So how
tautological?
can you tell me? You see what I mean? Pop quiz.
Well,
Can you
I'm
tell
doing
me-
it now because you're just being ridiculous. Yeah.
Squirrel brain. Can you tell me?
I'm pretty focused.
Can you tell
Laser
me?
focused,
Tell
actually.
me how it is
Powerful.
then that you can create any justifications that anybody's ever doing anything wrong?
Logic and reason. You build on top of like tautological axioms that seem reasonable based on kind of assumptions, but they seem reasonable, and you build upon an entire structure of world belief, which is
But
what
none of
divine-
them are justified.
I don't
So is this Mr. Northumberland? If nothing is real, there's no objective truth. You can convince anyone of anything. If you can convince anyone of anything, you can get them to do anything. That is a very dangerous game.
a foundational level, no, all
No.
beliefs are unjustifiable.
Well, then you don't.
How do you solve dogmatism?
When you just told me then that I can't go to secular people and tell them that their beliefs are unjustified,
You can't and be consistent.
so then we should just throw philosophy out.
No,
Why not? It's not
Because-
justified.
uh,
At a
because lots
foundational
of
level, it's
because-
just a tautology that we make up,
because
right?
people accept tautologies because that's how you think about the world, right?
Okay.
Like math, we just accept tautologies in math. We have to because you have no starting point if you don't. So we assume these things
Uh-huh.
and then we build on top of them. And then the beauty of things like math and science, in the case of like science realism, is you can use math and these things to observe and test and see if you're actually mapping onto the correctness of the world.
I see.
Yeah.
So then, if
Using
I
inductive and deductive
so then if I
logic.
utilize the assumption that God is real, this
That's
would
dogmatism. Yeah.
yeah, this would satisfy you.
So would mathematics then? Like we just assume that it's real because people assume that it's real.
Because you also use the assumption that God is real.
I'll just grant it, of course.
Okay,
I always
so
grant
then
axioms.
if that's the case, and we assume that God's real, and then we assume God's commands, and then we build our case off of that,
Yeah.
that's justified. As justified as something can be.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I don't know what we're arguing about. We'll just do that.
Well, we were arguing because you wouldn't answer Griffith's dilemma and saying that it wasn't true and coping.
No,
super
I was
hard about
asking
it.
you if it was true.
Well, we're arguing this because you were walking me along this thing and being like, secular
Yeah,
people have
but
no
I'm still gonna
justifications for
get-
their worldview.
I'm
And I
s-
went, well, we
yeah.
can go there, Andrew, but I'm just
Yeah, just as Christians, like the argument can be made on the inverse. They just grant that God is good, therefore God's morals and nature is good. It's the same argument. It's the same argument. It's subjective. It's subjective. It's based on my subjective feels. Because if let's say if Christians really followed the Bible as it's written and how you were supposed to live in it, they would find it reprehensible. They wouldn't want to follow the same morals and the same actions that are within the Bible. So we all make subjective inferences on what's acceptable in the Bible. The Bible says laying with a man is not good, but yet the Pope is like, yo, yeah, if you want to stick your pee-pee in the poo-poo, that's okay. Well, it's just it updates for the modern society. So secularism can make the same arguments, but their root is just, just with Christianity is enacting a certain level of beliefs that they think, or whatever their metric of good is, not so erudite, basically thinks limiting the suffering of people and GDP go up. As long as GDP go up, therefore good, even though this chick doesn't understand that actually in societies that don't have a lot of money, that are like viewed as poor, they actually find their level of happiness is higher. They actually have a higher level of happiness compared to people in the West.
It's going to like jump ahead to Agrippa's
Great,
trilemma.
but I still want to get back to the interrogation.
Okay, but
now.
your line of argumentation is going to fall apart because when you go, well, why are you assuming that this is good? I'll go, we're assuming it.
Okay, that's fine. But anyway, back to can we get back to this now?
Sure.
Okay, so when we're talking about the issue of secularism,
Yeah.
or not secularism, I'm sorry, liberalism.
Wait.
Liberalism is what we're discussing here. So
okay.
we'll pull back up on the notes since we went down that whole train of nonsense.
It's not nonsense. It's like foundational philosophy. Phil
okay.
101, really. It's kind of important.
You're right.
It's look at you guys. You better have read cover of some fucking books, and if you didn't read the cover of books, and here let's just do this. Foundations of Philosophy. Okay, all right, guys, everyone out there. Okay. Do you know metaphysics? If you don't know metaphysics, that's totally okay. Here, let me flex my fucking that I've read more than you. Here, what about epistemology? Epistemology. There we go. Do you guys understand? Did you look into epistemology? That's foundational, hey? Logic. Foundational methods and concept, foundationalism, argumentation, reasoning and conclusion, historical context. I don't see Agrippa's trilemma in here. I don't see Agrippa's trilemma in Philosophy 101. I assume that's like she had a discussion with someone, they went, yeah, but how do you know that if you don't, deposit these three axes or these three arguments or dilemmas? And she went, I don't know. What was that thing called? Gripping trems, something. And then she went and looked it up, and she's like, holy shit. I can defeat everyone with this. I can defeat everyone. But because she's so trying to get into her own brain and flex that I know you. Stop looking at me. God damn it. Look
you
away.
like to weaponize.
Okay, sure. Look up. As long as you're not looking at me, that's weird. But it's depositing these things as this is an argument destroyer. No, most people just go, sure, whatever, and then carry on.
It for your dumb audience against mean people to innocent OnlyFans girls to be see, their belief system is justified, and it's no one says
Name
at
a single time
level.
when I've done that.
Every time you were on the show.
Yeah, so give me. Do you have one?
When you debate any secular person, when you debated Charlie, when you debate Destiny, when you debated Naima, when you debated Xena, when you debated like et cetera, et cetera.
No, my argument is
you
actually
usually go,
that
your
if
belief
you're,
system's unjustifiable.
that's a dire
And it's
thing.
like your beliefs are
I do
unjustifiable.
the opposite. I start at the end. I just say if it's the case that it's just preferences, then you have absolutely no criticism for me imposing mine.
Most secular people, if they're good on philosophy, wouldn't say, well, it's not just preferences, right? It's some mixture of like we use, if they're utilitarian, they would use utiles.
These are all preferences.
Not really. These are like
Yes. They are my preferences. Just as like with Andrews, it's my preferences.
no, there's no more preferences than you preferring God.
That's my point.
I'm an idiot, and I understand. Like
But then all of this is empty.
That's right.
Yes.
So your
So then
arguments
you
are
would have,
wait, but then you have to grant that your arguments are just as empty as theirs.
if that's
Yes.
the case, then you would have no room to criticize me for imposing my preferences.
Sure, we could, because then we could just use reason and logic and evidence of what seems to
Preferences?
benefit people.
Your preferences
Yeah,
versus my
I think
preferences?
it's reasonable to assume that I prefer that like people are like people experience less harm, right? I think that's a reasonable preference
Why?
to have.
less. And I think harm and that particular word, and I get where not so erudite is coming from, and I think we do want to limit like suffering. We don't want people to feel or to experience unnecessary hardship and pain, like unnecessary. Now, is there necessary pains? You know, someone having a bad relationship, like, yeah, we don't want people to experience it, but you know, there are some like those instances, and I like in my view of the world is we are built by our hardships. But today's like worldview has become, you know, you're not allowed to experiencing anything bad. Anything bad is seen as bad. Therefore, you can't actually experiencing that is bad. But this is why we see people, and you know what? I'll be real. I experienced this stuff too. Like in the grand scheme of things, you know, I talked about like on the weekend or like my drive back from the deliveries that I was making. I was literally driving through snowstorms. Literally, like I could show you pictures where there's no, like it's ruts. But is that really that bad? Is it really that bad? Is it harmful? Is it harmful? Or does it build that, hey, I met adversity and I overcame it? And I think that's so much more important. I met adversity and I overcame it. It didn't define me, but it became a part of me. So when people like Not So Erudite are sitting here saying, hey, we want to reduce harm. Well, do you want little Johnny when he falls off the playground structure that he just shouldn't? Right? Like we don't want it to happen, but if it does, it's like, okay, you know what? Get up. Yep, and laugh it off and whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But because we've removed any and all harm, you can't feel bad. People have meltdowns at Starbucks because they got their order wrong. They actually because they never experience actual struggle, actual inconvenience, actual like pain. So that's where she comes from. And I don't agree with it. I think you need it. Like when I hear people talk about heaven, to me, it sounds like hell. That there's nothing but opulence and no worry, no pain, no nothing. Everything is a utopia. I think what's so much more important, why life is so interesting, is because our peaks and valleys. It's not the SSRI where everything just feels mundane and normal. It's the lows that you experience. It's the highs that you experience. You know, that to me is life. It's experiencing those lows and highs.
Because I want it.
Then it's perfectly reasonable for me to say no.
I didn't say it's unreasonable.
Then there's nothing to argue
because
there.
you're insisting that they're unjustifiable while you are. And I'm saying, no, you're all unjustifiable, but both are actually reasonable. You can have your Christian preferences, but as a Christian, I'm fighting you and saying, actually, your preferences are icky and bad for the faith. Don't do it. Also, Jesus wasn't political, so you're kind of going against what Jesus taught.
So
also bad to do.
Okay, so then back to this, when we're talking about liberalism and the system of liberalism, and you're appealing to consensus, right? If the consensus is that they want every third baby.
So the question is, how do we coexist with another human species that has a soul of different nature and origin?
Which is just part of their like preferences, man. And they assume that it's fine. You can't actually critique that.
Of course you can. We do it all the time.
With what?
You could use utilitarianism, and you could say, actually,
GT.
babies,
Thank you, GT, for reposting the stream. I see a bunch of you over there on X. Thank you, of course, X, you guys tuning in. I see a couple of you over on YouTube. I can't see Rumble right now. Rumble doesn't pop up on the live viewer account, so I have to physically go over there, but that's on that monitor. So, all right.
Bad because it makes a worse world. It harms that specific baby. It probably also harms the mother, which would actually decrease the.
Oh boy. Oh, ugh. I don't know if you want to go down that path. Not so erudite that it harms the baby. It's a. How should I phrase this without sounding terrible? I'm not making this claim. But in order, no, I won't.
Amount of flourishing and increasing amount of harm, which is why I think it would be bad to do. That's what a utilitarian could say.
And then say, but you would say that
God doesn't like it when you kill babies unless he orders you to do it, like in the
right.
Amalekites.
And which one of you is right?
Hey, we just talked about that on Saturday. God doesn't want you to kill babies unless it's the Mechalites or whatever it was that we were talking about on Saturday. Yeah, God doesn't want you to do it unless you do it. All right, well, since she brought it up. Because someone doesn't have the opportunity to commit sin, it would actually be seen in a warped worldview that you could actually, by unaliving a infant, you would actually stop them from making the choices that would lead them to damnation. You see how messed up that can get real bloody quick?
Well, we would have to fight. I mean, the issue is like we have to assume at the end of the level.
Fight, right?
Yeah, and I would go, I think my argument's more reasonable. I wouldn't say my argument's more justifiable at a foundational level. This is what you do. You try to say my beliefs are foundationally justified and yours are not, which is why I'm reasonable and you're not. It's like, that's not true.
Actually, I do the opposite.
Yeah.
I start at the end of the argument and say, I agree with you. It's all preferences.
Just because the chronology of how you get there is different, it doesn't change that this is the tactic that you typically utilize when you debate people.
No, listen.
Why are you giving away the way the sausage is made? I don't know. All right.
I'm doing the same thing with you. We're at the end now.
Yeah, you're like, I start at the end and I walk people all the way back to the foundational axioms.
I'm just asking
and
you
then I go, see how silly this is? I'm not silly. And I'm saying you're just as unjustified.
I'm just asking you a single question here.
Yeah,
which
you
is
use
that
reason and
is
logic.
Consensus, when you're talking about consensus, that's how you want things to be, right?
Well, no, this is not an ought. Like a consensus isn't an ought. I think it's the best system that's arrived so far.
So when I
if
asked
you can make up a better one,
so when I asked you earlier, this is an ought, and you said yes, that's not the case.
Well, there's a second part to what I was saying, I believe, at the time.
No, I asked you, is consensus how Christians ought do things? You said yes.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No.
I specifically wrote it down.
If I did, I didn't mean it.
You didn't?
No, I should have clarified. What do you actually want to ask here?
Yeah, so I want to just ask you about consensus. So if they want to every third baby, okay,
I would oppose this.
Yeah, but why would they be actually wrong?
I would
exactly that's where all of this. But why? Why would someone's preferences be like? You have to justify why that is wrong. And like I said, you could start going down a really warped path of actually preventing someone from making decisions that would lead them to damnation. It would actually, in her worldview of reducing harm, which, okay, I get in theory, we don't want people to be hurt, but I think there's degrees. That builds character. But if you're about reducing harm, okay, well, this is how Terminator started, right? Like, hey, the whole reason was Skynet, why Skynet turned on people was that Skynet realized that it was actually people killing people. So if we killed all the people, there would be no more people to harm. That's the whole basis of Terminator. So are you reducing harm by reducing the amount of people, thus instances of people being harmed? There, Agrippa's trilemma, that bitch.
For example, I would, in the case of a pagan, I would probably appeal to their own moral system. I think that most people, for example, I believe, you probably believe this too, that God gives us conscience, right? He like puts a spirit inside of us, that God's meta-ethical system emerges naturally out of us, right? So like what I would do, for example, is I would probably, first of all, try to examine that pagan's belief system. And I would be like, do you actually think babies is okay, right? I would actually morally question them. And one of the issues is that
the Aztecs did. So is that wrong? Like by the Aztecs, all the human sacrifice that they did, if you ask them, hey, is doing that wrong? They would say, what are you talking about? Of course it's good. That's what the gods want. It's subjective.
Is unobservable. We can't truly know whether somebody thinks something is wrong or right. But I think the knowledge of wrong or right is really important, kind of biblical, one might even say. So I would question whether or not they know it's wrong or right, and then I would appeal to things like state. So like civic ethics, for example. It doesn't work very well in.
She's talking so moistly. Now I can't unhear it. I heard. Stop speaking moistly.
Nations to kill every third baby, you're just reducing your population. Usually the mothers don't like it, usually the fathers don't like it. Doesn't seem to have any good outcome. In fact, most of the reasons why people in the past babies was to satisfy some sun god. And we would go, that's not an overly reasonable argument. It's probably more reasonable to say we shouldn't kill babies. That seems more reasonable. So I could appeal to them within their own worldview of secularism or their own worldview of paganism.
Sure.
Unless you ask, why is it wrong? And they say, well, because that's what we do. That's what makes the sun come out. That's what makes the crops grow. And then you go, well, that doesn't seem right. Here's all this information culture that has no real concept of science and how the world actually works. Here, let me deposit all this information. And they go, yeah, but this has worked though, even in their, warped view. But this has worked.
And they say, we don't care.
There you go.
Are they in my state?
No.
They're in another country?
Yeah, I'm just asking why they're wrong, why they're doing something wrong.
Why they're doing something wrong to me?
Why is that wrong? Yeah.
Because I think it's immoral to kill babies.
Why?
Because I think God doesn't like you to kill babies unless he orders it, like in the Amalekites.
Because you assumed that.
I assumed God, yep.
You assumed it. And so they...
Oh, man. Okay. Was it she cannot talk over him nonstop? Jesus Christ, she's not. Her intent is in debate is only to win. You can tell she's closed-minded, telling people what they think is I assume basic Psych 101 of narcissism. I think I honestly I will agree with this Devin guy. Man, why don't you guys send me $100 fucking tip? What the hell? Whose dick do I need to suck around here? Oh, hours of content, Sharon, I pour my soul out to you guys. I can't get $100. It sounds like I'm trying to follow her argument. Like, where is the logical consistency? But it's almost like arguing for argument's sake and to show rather than to like convince an audience. like actually making arguments that would convince an audience this is what debating is about. It's not convincing the other person, it's convincing the audience. Also on Wednesday, I have a debate with the Soy Pill, who after that time will be known as Soy Paste. We're going to be debating socialized healthcare on Wednesday on Wick TV. I don't know, we will be streaming it, but it will be on Wick TV. But it seems like arguing for arguing, like she's trying to defeat Andrew rather than trying to like defend the position. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Andrew's actually like defeating her arguments while maintaining the position.
Well, I'm assuming God. Yeah.
So they assume not God.
Yep.
And so they come to you and say, well, you're just assuming this anyway.
And I would say, so are you.
And then they would say, good, we're going to go back to babies. And the problem with that is
I would
what?
say, I'm going to use my language and quill to convince you that you're wrong and that there's a more compelling and better way to live. And I'm going to appeal to the spirit that I think God puts into all of us to try to pull out of you the fact that it's actually really bad.
I
That's what
see.
would do.
So if a Christian nationalist does that within a liberal system, they're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah. So you guys can try to compel people to Christianity, but my issue isn't.
No, we can compel ourselves to the will of the state. Why not? What's wrong with that? You
Sorry.
just, I mean,
I
what
don't
do
know
you
what you're
mean?
saying right now.
If Christians take over the entire state, rewrite the entirety of the Constitution within your liberal framework,
They can in the liberal framework, but as a Christian, I think that they're being unchristian by doing
yeah,
so.
but who cares? You're just assuming it.
God cares, and I'm assuming that we're all
Yeah, but I
Christians.
assume God doesn't care.
Wait, God doesn't care? God doesn't care that you're am I high? Aren't you? Hold on. I want to double check. Bible talking about, or let's see, God commanding to spread Christianity. Am I high? Doesn't God specifically say to do that? Here we go. Jesus commands his followers to spread Christianity through what is known as the Great Commission, recorded in Matthew 28:19, verse 20. In this passage, Jesus instructs his disciples, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I commanded you. Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. The hell is she talking about? What is she talking about?
I would question your Christian theology.
Oh, well, what?
I'm questioning yours right now. I just read it and you're wrong. You're wrong. This is why I can't stand Christians. This is why you guys piss me off. Most of you don't read your goddamn book. I'm no expert in any stretch of the imagination. There are people far more smarter than me, far more capable, and understand the nuance and the deep context within the Bible. I don't. I'm an idiot. I know enough to get myself into trouble. I don't know enough to get myself out of it. But, god damn.
I just
Because
assumed it.
Scripture. Do you think that like logic, reason, evidence, scripture doesn't exist outside of like foundations?
It doesn't matter. What
Of course it
matters
does.
is what I
Wait,
assume.
How would scripture?
Oh, she's doing the destiny thing again. What? How are you supposed to understand that God is a fundamental axiom if you don't actually fucking Agrippa's trilemma this stuff? And how are you actually going to understand this, you dumb motherfucker? Did I destiny enough?
Not matter when I'm talking to fellow
Because I
Christians.
just assume things.
Well, no, you don't just assume things.
Why not?
Oh, you're equivocating again. So what
How
you're
am I
doing,
equivocating?
because you're saying assuming at a foundational. So when I say assume, I mean at a foundational axiomatic level.
Yeah.
That is not the same thing
My
as
axiom
assuming
is that I'm always right
That's
about
not an
everything.
axiom.
Why can't it be an
Yeah, it
axiom?
is.
because it's not tautological.
I'm right because I'm right. That's a tautology.
Yeah. Now now I can go, oh, I don't think that's justified. And then I would prove you wrong.
Okay, but who cares? You just said nothing's justified.
Sorry, are we just doing like nihilism warp tour? Nobody should care. Nobody should care about, you granted me that even at Christianity, you granted me that your worldview is just as unimportant. So how do you make people care?
Because that makes my point, actually.
So
If
you're
it is the
hands
case-
off. You're like, none of it matters. My system
Yeah,
is just as
if it is the
unjustifiable and assumed
case,
as
now I
everyone
at
else's.
least understand what you're saying. So great. If it's the case,
Took
if it's the
2 hours
case-
and 15 minutes.
Let him get
yeah,
through
if
it.
it's the
Yeah, okay.
case that we're just assuming
Well, I don't think you guys want to listen to me vape. I meant to mute my.
the worldview at a foundational level, and it's an axiom I'm right because I'm right. Now we have a tautology. Then there's actually no good reason for me not to assume that I'm just right about reforming liberalism after my own image.
So reason can be it includes things like inductive and deductive logic. This is the stuff that we build off of our axioms, right?
Am I the only one that she's actually grading? It feels like she talks down to you rather than talking to you, right? Or am I just like a petty child? Hold on, I'm gonna do something quick. How's that? Is it better? Oh no, you can see my fat tits more. Whatever, it's fine. Them's the breaks, kiddo.
Can.
Well, that's what we do. That's what all philosophical systems are. That's what you do. That's what I do.
Well, that's an assumption
This is crazy.
because
Okay.
foundationally you're assuming it, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right, Andrew. Everything doesn't matter anything at all. And in fact, everything that you say doesn't matter. And none of your systems are justified. And it's all just arbitrary and silly.
So then if
That's what you're saying too.
by your view, yeah.
No. You granted my view. You said, I'll grant you Agrippa's
How?
trilemma.
Yeah.
No.
But that would,
This is our
yes,
view now,
I'm
baby.
grant-
You
What? You granted me Agrippa's trilemma, therefore you're granted it. You granted that Agrippa's trilemma exists. Therefore, take that, Christian. Take that, Christian, in your worldview. I'm trying to find a pen. Pen that works.
said you're
Yes.
joining me. You're in the Agrippa's trilemma acceptance state,
and
okay?
In fact, then, if that's
so
the case,
you're just as arbitrary
sure.
and just as
So if
stupid,
that's-
and we can't assume anything.
So if that's the case,
So we shouldn't talk
then-
about anything. Why are we here?
Exactly.
Let each other finish, please.
So I just want to know.
Well,
then
you're in my worldview.
what
How
would
are you
the-
solving that
What
now?
would the
Let him finish,
argument?
please.
What now is the argument for me to impose Christian nationalism?
Let me ask that to you. What's your argument for it?
Because I want to.
You're just assuming that.
'Cause I
though.
want to.
Yeah, but that you're just assuming.
That doesn't change anything because I want to. It's just like if like the pagans that they were talking about, if they wanted to expand their pagan worldview, then they go, well, why do you want to? Because I want to. Because I think my worldview is better. Because I think the traditions and all that stuff. Like actually, I actually like some of the like pagan traditions. Like I like the idea of jumping the fire. So for those that don't know, like what jumping the fire is, I'm going to talk like well, there's actually some pagan religions have actually like done jumping the fire. Oh, you don't know what jumping the fire is? Let me explain it to you, you fucking idiot. Okay, I'm going to explain to you jumping the fire because you're too stupid. But like the idea of jumping the fire was like removing the bad spirits from the last year. So the idea of like the sparks that come up from the fire are these fairies that are taking the evil away from you. And so you start the new year anew. And I like that idea, like a ritualistic type of aspect to a, I guess, metaphysical action or metaphysical belief or idea that there's these evil spirits that have kind of held you back, and jumping the fire removes all that. We get to start over. We get to start fresh. So what's wrong with that becoming a norm outside of I like it?
That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right.
Exactly. So it's fine to do.
So why are you saying that it's an ought statement?
Wait a second. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, so why is it an ought statement?
Because I want it to be, because I assume it.
Okay, so your system is wholly unjustifiable. There's no reason why Christians should do it. They're just like moving on vibes.
And there's no
preference.
reason for Christians not to do it,
Okay.
right?
I believe in I'm a foundationalist. So I believe in.
Yeah, but you assume your foundations can't be justified.
Everyone assumes foundations. You've already granted me this.
Then if that's the case, then who cares what your foundation
Because in
is?
philosophy, we typically ground foundations to some extent.
We don't do anything in philosophy. I don't know what you do with philosophy, but
Okay, Mr. Philosophy.
She fillets it and like, oh man, I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm an idiot, and this bothers me. Maybe that's it. It's just it bothers me. It bothers me that I don't understand, so I get hangry.
In any level of respected philosophy, we assume
which respected philosophers are you
Aristotle,
referencing?
Plato, Socrates. What are some modern ones that I can think
What
of?
did Socrates?
Heidegger.
What about Nietzsche? I like Nietzsche because his name sounds like what we used to call it was a derogatory name for individuals. What's up, my Nietzsche? What's up, my Nietzsche?
Socrates assumed that
Yes.
you couldn't justify anything.
Well, no, sort of. What we do is we grant assumptions because we understand that at a foundational level, they're all unjustified.
All you did was destroy the possibility for there to be objective morality. That's it.
Nope, because I think God exists.
Yeah, but you just assume it.
So, but non-Christians also assume that he doesn't exist.
Yeah, so then if they have an anti-moral realist position,
I would use logic and reason to compel them as to why I'm correct.
Okay, let's assume for a second I'm a moral anti-realist.
What? She is alive in real time in front of you, Andrew and Brian. They have been living amongst us for thousands of years. Hey, don't lump me in with this chick. It's not my fault. It's because she's Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Use logic and reason to compel me when you tell me that your whole worldview is just assumed.
Sorry. You really love that assumed word. Can you rephrase that in a way that's coherent?
That was coherent.
That was
but I'll do it
coherent.
again.
Let's assume it wasn't.
Foundationally,
Let's assume.
I'm a moral anti-realist.
Okay.
Your moral foundations are assumed
Mhm.
and not justified.
And I would say, how do you solve Agrippa's trilemma?
No. You told me, the
damn
moral anti-realist, that.
Yeah. And then the anti-realist goes, well, your opinions are just assumed, right? And I go, yeah. How do you solve Agrippa's trilemma?
Why would they need to? They're anti-realists.
So
hold on. Okay, so she keeps she keeps using this Agrippa's trilemma. How do you solve for it? Solved. I'm sure the internet. How do you solve Agrippa's trilemma? Okay, while no solution is universally accepted, several philosophical approaches attempt to resolve or circumvent the trilemma. Foundationalism proposes that some beliefs, examples, sense, perception, or self-evident truths, like I think, therefore I am, are self-justifying, which Andrew talked about. I'm what do you say? I'm speaking the truth because I'm speaking the truth, or however he decided to say it, and do not require further justification. This breaks the infinite regress. So Andrew, in fact, Andrew already did. I guess she didn't recognize it. Like, I don't know. This stuff makes no sense to me. Okay. Coherentism rejects the need for foundational beliefs, instead asserting that beliefs are justified by the coherence within a large system of beliefs, like a web. A belief is justified if it fits well with other beliefs, yet this risks circularity and struggles to distinguish between a coherent but false belief system and a true one. Infinitism accepts that justification can involve an infinite chain of reasons. While logically possible, it is particularly unworkable and fails to provide a stable basis for knowledge. Pragmatism and empiricism offer a practical resolution. We accept beliefs when they are useful, satisfy our purposes, or are confirmed by experience, even if they can't be infinitely justified. This aligns with how science operates, testing and refining beliefs based on evidence, not perfect logical diversion or derivation. What the hell is derivation? So, okay, with that, with those examples being ascribed here, well, Andrew did. In fact, he did it multiple ways. He went on the foundationalism. But it's like she's trying to go like deeper and see, and that's the thing with this type of argument. It's like, look, I have you in this thing because it's called a dilemma. Therefore, the dilemma is undefeated. So even if Andrew didn't understand what Agrippa's trilemma is, like even if he didn't understand like necessarily what exactly it is, like I have no idea. I don't know. All I heard was her with Jay Dyer saying it over and over and over again. That I actually had to look it up. So I would say Andrew actually like solved it, whether he actually knew what it was or not.
Then even
You just destroyed the possibility for objective morality.
No, I
Erudite.
didn't.
You
So,
did.
No, even subjectivists fail Agrippa's trilemma. They fail by infinite regression.
Okay.
Secularists fail, even though pragmatism and empiricism often a practical resolution. We accept beliefs when they are useful, satisfy our purposes, or confirmed by experience, even if they can't be infinitely justified. This aligns with how science operates, testing and refining beliefs based on evidence, not perfect logical derivation. derivation. The hell is derivation? Function on an algebra which generalizes certain features. What? The active process. Oh, fuck. Oh, deriving. I don't know. The state of fact of being derived. Okay, something is derived. Okay, a derivative. So take that. Not so bright. Not so. Ugh.
Again, who cares?
You forgot about that one, didn't you?
That doesn't hurt my argument.
Yes, it does.
If I'm an anti-realist, a moral anti-realist, I say there are no moral facts. And that is completely and totally in line with Agrippa's trilemma.
So Agrippa's trilemma would say, how do you solve for infinite regression?
Why would I need to?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now that I actually understand what Agrippa's trilemma is, it's like it's like she's like, look, I have this shield up, Agrippa's trilemma, slap you in the face with it. Here's justifications as why it wouldn't be. And she's like, but how do you solve for the dilemma? How do you solve for the dilemma? Instead of like actually just address. I don't know. It's actually insulting.
Because it's a fallacy.
So thinking's a fallacy.
No, infinite regression's a fallacy.
Okay, but everything's going to reduce to an infinite regress, right?
So what comes before thinking?
Well, that would be transcendentals would come before thinking.
Okay, what comes before that?
Well, we would make the justification of God, right?
So you're assuming, so no, secular anti-realists
I'm talking
would not assume
about
God.
you.
No, not me.
You don't assume God?
I do assume God,
So
but
then
we were
all of
talking
the
about moral
transcendentals come from him?
anti-realists.
It comes from
Andrew,
God.
respectfully, we should
Yeah.
probably, I don't think you're ready for this conversation. I don't think.
No, I'm having a good time with this one.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that me, the moral anti-realist, right, that you are telling me that objective morality is real, right?
Mhm. And I would
Okay.
use reason and logic and argumentation, and I would build off
But
of my
you're
functional
not.
axiom.
But you're not. You're just throwing Agrippa's trilemma and thinking like this is a gotcha. Where is the logic and reason and all these other things in order to defeat these arguments? But you're just not. But you're not. You're actually stonewalling by saying, "Well, then how do you solve for Agrippa's trilemma?"
that a good faith moral anti-realist would just grant me. So they'd be like, well, why do you believe God? And I'm like, I just assume him. And they're like, okay, well, I can't really contend with that. It's just assumed. And then when I build my entire case for why I think morals are objective, because I think God instilled them outside of us and that they are in every person. And I say, you can see this in the universal ways in which morals consistently emerge. We see this trajectory.
See, and that's where I would argue that, well, because like objectives is mind independent, so they are subjective. Therefore, if God has a mind, God is a thinking being, which the Bible even deposits that God thinks. God thinks. So God himself has subjective morality. It is all subjective. It is not objective. These don't exist outside a mind. God had to think to create the universe, right? And all the stars and the earth and all that other stuff. He had to think about it. So because God thinks, therefore they are subjective. There are no objective morals.
Of humankind moving towards greater and greater moral systems, right? Free speech and respecting one another and treating everyone kindly. And what you'll notice most importantly is not only are those morals objective, but they're the Christian ones because God is real. My God specifically is real. That's how I would do that argumentation.
Okay, so
oh my God. Bitch, read your Bible.
are there moral facts?
Yeah, yes.
And are they just assumed?
Yeah, at a foundational level.
Okay, so then any moral facts that I assume at a foundational level are equivalent to any moral facts you assume at a foundational level?
No, not equivalent. I didn't say these are all equivocal.
What would make them different?
My use of inductive and deductive logic is better. I use better reason. I have more evidence for my
better,
claims.
hang on. What does better mean here?
Better means like more coherent, more consistent, like
yeah, but why
logical
is
things
that
we
better?
value. Because it seems to produce better thinking. It seems to work
that's a
alongside
tautology.
Yes,
yeah, it's better because
everything.
it's better.
Yeah, tautologies.
Yeah.
Welcome to philosophy.
Yeah, so
Andrew.
then I just want to make sure. So you're just going to endlessly
what a
be
cope- what a
in a
cope
case
laugh.
of infinite regress and tautology,
Sweet of you. I appreciate that.
and then there's no moral facts are just assumed.
Just let me pour my energy drink that
Okay.
Brian respectfully, and then we'll get back into you really struggling with philosophy.
Oh, I'm having a struggle. That's true.
You are.
This has been very difficult for me. I agree.
I mean, hey, you've at least accepted the reality that your beliefs are just as unjustified as everyone else that you mock, which is great.
So might makes right.
No.
Yeah, it does. Yes, why wouldn't it?
Wait, hold on. She's laughing like that was a stupid statement because all she's saying that like all she's actually saying is I will do this because I think it's better. Okay, well, how do you make those ideas better? You have to have some type of enforcement. Like if a culture, we talked like about like Aztecs, when they're sacrificing people, well, they did that because there was a large enough group of people that said this is how we do things. In Afghanistan, they just legalized domestic abuse. Okay. Well, why is that? Like that is now seen as in Afghanistan as okay. So why is that okay? So this like her laughing when he says so then might makes right, and she's like no. Well, that's what they just did in Afghanistan.
Because of things like coercive power versus legitimate authority.
Who cares about that? You're just assuming it.
No. So again,
At its
pragmatically,
foundation,
do you think
whatever
that-
arguments you have
do you think
are
like all of this
assumed.
around me just doesn't exist because I'm assuming it?
Wait. Material things?
Yeah.
Is philosophy material?
Yeah, it can be.
How?
What?
Pragmatism is often.
How?
Pragmatism?
Yeah, how's
it's
it
often interested
material?
in like material effects.
That's not material. That's
So-
you're just saying what it's.
I am so sorry. Hold on.
Are you French?
Party foul.
You were so sweet to remind me, and then I destroyed your tech.
Yikes.
Did we get all the tech out of the way?
Can we get paper towels? Yeah, just pass them to
Jesus.
Kyla there. A little spillage. It's okay. Here, no, it's all good. I'll take care of it. You guys continue with the debate. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good.
Wow.
Stream deck first, though.
Come on. This is like your nature. This is your being. You're supposed to clean. It's what women do.
But it doesn't get anywhere.
Yeah. Here, let me take care of it though. You guys can continue on with the.
We would probably run an experiment or something like
Yeah,
this.
we would use like reason and logic to build up a belief system.
Well, the thing is, though, is like
You
that
really
wouldn't
don't
make
like that
that
you're
wouldn't
feeling
make
this.
philosophy material.
So not all of philosophy, like the art of loving wisdom, isn't material, but it commentates on materialism
Yeah,
all the
but you
time.
just said it was material.
Well, parts of it can be material. Yeah,
Which parts?
the part that is your brain thinking about things.
So,
Is your brain not material?
okay, so is the
Could I have this
philosophy-
conversation if I
is
didn't
the
have a brain?
philosophy itself material?
I mean, it sounds like you're having this conversation without a brain. TBH. That's what the kids say. They say TBH.
Or is
No.
the brain material?
The brain's material.
Okay, so then not the philosophy again.
I don't know why you think that this is a dunk. Saying that
I'm not
philosophy,
trying to dunk.
I said philosophy can engage in the material, of course.
But you said,
And then I said, for
you said it
example,
That bitch just belched into the freaking microphone. Did you really just burp into the microphone, you little piggy?
the part that is your brain thinking about things.
No.
Is your brain not material?
Okay, so is the
Could I have this
philosophy-
conversation if I
is
didn't
the
have a brain?
philosophy itself material, or is
No.
the brain material?
The brain's material.
Okay, so then not the philosophy again.
I don't know why you think that this is a dunk. Saying that
I'm not
philosophy,
trying to dunk.
I said philosophy can engage in the material, of course.
But you said,
And then I said, for
you
example,
it was
one of
You
the-
material.
little piggy. You little piggy. What a little piggy.
is pragmatism.
Yeah, but that's not material.
Sure, okay.
Okay,
You won. Oh,
that's all.
You're so smart, Andrew. You got me.
I don't know. Hey, you're way better at this than me. Help me out though. I'm actually fine, kind of staying right here.
So you accept that your belief system is just as unjustifiable.
Oh, sure, especially for the purpose of this
you
conversation.
actually? No, not for the purpose of this conversation. Don't be like bad faith and
That's not
presume
bad
things.
faith.
It is bad faith to presume things that you don't actually believe.
That's
don't
not
purport.
bad faith.
Do not purport to me that you believe in things that you don't believe. That is definitionally bad faith.
How?
By self-delusion or self-deception, or in this case, explicit deception, saying,
Uh-huh.
"Yeah, I believe this," and it's like, "No, you don't.
Yeah.
You literally don't."
Got it.
Or do you?
Do I what?
Do you believe that Agrippa's trilemma means that all?
You convinced me.
Okay, so now I'm not. I don't know what to do with this. I guess falling into snark is your way of solving your bad
How
philosophy.
am I falling into some snark?
Because you are either being genuine
You convinced me.
and rude.
You convinced me all moral foundations are completely unjustified. And since all moral foundations are completely unjustified, any facts we build off of those are not going to be justified.
Yeah, are by themselves.
Well, they're not going to be
unjustifiable.
axiomatically justified, but they can be reasonable and coherent.
So they're still unjustified.
Yeah, but we seem to like value these things that seems to produce good outcomes.
Yeah, but
that
you
seems to
couldn't.
build
You
a-
could
Oh,
never
boy.
say we seem.
Okay.
It seems to me like that men could collectivize and just have women stuff them in cages too. That seems to me like a possibility.
Sure, the issue is that
What
a
would
lot
the
of
just? There's
other men wouldn't like
there
that because
are
men aren't a
no-
class.
A lot of men would love it. They did it for years. Half the world and half the women. What do you mean?
Okay,
There you go.
men
Thanks for proving my
also
point, Andrew.
freed a lot of women, right?
And they also enslave them.
Okay.
And so who cares? It's like, if that's the case, if all it is a reduction to the idea that there are no moral facts,
Things that are
there can't-
unjustifiable
d-
does
like-
not mean that things don't matter.
well, it means that there's no moral facts.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, because you have to assume.
You're assuming there's moral facts.
Yep.
Do you know what a fact is?
Yeah.
What is it?
A fact is something that is real and true.
Okay, so you're making a truth claim.
Yeah, I'm making a truth claim that God exists
Uh-huh.
and that He has made a real objective world with real objective moral
Uh-huh.
systems. Are you not doing
And
the
you're
same
assuming
thing?
it.
Are you not doing the
I
same thing?
am. I'm here.
Well, see, and then that, yeah, okay. So, like, again, I'm an idiot. I can't grasp any of this stuff at like to actually understand and like really kind of get into the nitty gritty. But it very much seems like then you're assuming that God exists because you assume. I don't know. Maybe I'm just retarded.
Baby, I'm right here with
So
you.
you would all. So what? Do you think that you can't state moral facts now?
I think that anything that I would state as being a moral fact now becomes unjustified. And since it's unjustified, I can do whatever the I want.
Okay.
And there can be no actual objection to that now. We've
Of course there
destroyed all possibility for objective morality now.
No, because people have accepted that Agrippa's trilemma exists for a long time, and we
So?
still object one another. Because
So
whether or
what?
not, so you and I
Ugh,
assume the
Those
same
aren't
things.
moral facts anymore. You don't have moral facts. You just have assumptions.
Sure, you do, because God exists. We're assuming that God
No,
exists.
no. That's an assumption.
But okay, but now you know, she always kind of like look at what like but outside of like secularists, what you know, how are they going to justify it? It's like, well, it's just by my preference, by my feels. With my feels, I will feel that way. Therefore, you have to justify as to why. Okay, logic and reason. Well, but if we don't sacrifice these people, the crops don't grow. And are they wrong? Are they wrong in thinking that? And I see he almost pulled into like it becomes cultural. So the discussion or the points that I always try to make is like, you know, think of like the Europeans when they came over and they seen like these warring people were like brutalizing each other, you know, scalping, beheading, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. And did the Europeans have a moral duty in order to stop that? And I think that's where that question ends up going. It's like, well, if they could just convince you that, you know, slaughtering our opponents and spilling their blood on our crops helps them grow better, it's like, okay. So then why would they be wrong in thinking that? It's an interesting little dilemma, I suppose. Almost like a Agrippa's trilemma or dilemma. Or whatever. I don't know. Whatever it's called. It's yeah, I don't know, man. All right. I think we've been going for nearly 2 hours. You know, I see 63 of you. Share it. Share the show. I see a bunch of you over on X, you on YouTube, see some of you over on Rumble. And whose D do I need to S in order to get $100 around here? Do I need to start grifting? Do I need to start like e-begging? Please give me money. Please. Should we touch on this? See if it actually plays it.
A vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate.
What's BAFTA? That sounds like something like guys do to each other after a couple of drinks. BAFTA guest John Davidson with Tourette's shouts N-word at black actors. Wait, that was Michael Jordan? Was that actually Michael Jordan? That didn't look like Michael Jordan. Where the hell was the... whatever. The BBC and the British Academy of Film and Television. Is that it? British Academy of Film and Television? Oh, okay. Have apologized to viewers after a guest with Tourette's syndrome shouted the N-word during the BAFTA on Sunday. The incident took place as Sinners star Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting the award for Best Visual Effects. According to the award ceremony host Alan Cummings, the guest who shouted the racial slur was John Davidson, a Scottish Tourette's campaigner, who was the inspiration for the BAFTA-nominated film I Swear. Lindo reacted to the racial slur in an interview with Vanity Fair after the incident. Lindo said he and Jordan did what we had to do while on stage after Davidson blurted out the N-word. Lindo told the publication he wished someone from BAFTA spoke to us. About what? That the guy said the N-word? All right, now we need to talk about what Tourette's is. Oh, they said the word. Said offended. After Davidson's outburst, Cummings apologized to those in attendance at the Royal Festival, blah, blah, blah. Cummings described Tourette's syndrome as disability that tics you have heard tonight are involuntary, which means a person who has Tourette's syndrome has no control over their language. Agreed. I agree. That's why everyone, you shouldn't be offended when I say dirty words. BBC apologized, yada, yada, yada. Don't really care. That's funny as fuck. That's funny. That's funny. All right. I think with that, we are going to wrap it up and get out of here. And with that, I will see you guys hopefully this evening. Hopefully this evening we should have a live show. Yeah. It'll be Monday night, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock tonight. We will be live. I guess outside of that, we will see you guys later. How do I end this? Like that. And go.